Come here. Hello, welcome back to Nick Lenz. This is Comic Corner, classic Nick Lenz class. We do stuff from Marvel and DC. First one is Graham Hunt. I'm gonna do this one quick because I had to do a second take of this because my thing crashed. I'm not gonna say it again. Basically, let's just show you guys who's in the thing.
Should close there.
Yeah. If you can see it, that's who writes it. Alright? And those are the issues in it. I'm not going to say it again. So, this story, just so I can talk about briefly, I talked about this last part. It took like 10 minutes, seems like. But, this story, it's a good story. But they're missing characters. Where is Anti-Venom? Where is Charlotte Webb? Where is, whatchamacallit? Where is Jessica Drew? You have 3 characters missing from the story, and yet Kane says to begin the story that the Kravenoffs that someone's hunting the spiders. And yet you only put 6 of them in the story. So basically, 4 out of 5 this story. It's good. It's a good story. Artwork's okay. Don't like the backup story very much. But that's my only gripe with this thing. It's simply just they're missing like 3 characters, 3 very important characters to the Spider-Man franchise, and they choose not to put them in here. I can probably think of one reason why. Probably Bendis said no using Jessica Drew, so he's probably stuck in there just Julia Carpenter. But I don't know what the reason was, basically, that Jessica Drew could not be used in the story, or even freaking Anti-Venom. Or even Charlotte Webb, who was actually in a coma at this time. Who's been in coma ever since her last appearance in Spider-Man Volume 3. So my question is, why couldn't she return with this story? Yeah. Also, Madeline dies in the story. Sasha Kravinoff dies. Madeline Franklin dies. Kraven comes back. Vladimir comes back. Vladimir dies again. This is a sequel to Kraven's Last Hunt. This is the long-awaited story everybody's waiting for. It's not exactly a letdown. No. I wouldn't call it a letdown. It's a good story. But I gave it a 4 out of 5 because it was missing 3 important characters. Yeah, 3 important characters. I'm not going to say it again. Alright. Now, here's the book I've been wanting to talk about. Oh, yes. Mysterio, Electro, and the Chameleon. And also Diablo shows in the story. Sort of helps out the Kravenoffs with the resurrection ceremony. This one's a really, really good story. Though some people don't like the artwork very much in the story, but Origin of the Species. Good story. It has Amazing Spider-Man 642, 647, and it's written by Mark Waid. It also has Spider-Man Saga, Doc Ock's Origin Web of Spider-Man number 12. Here's what I was going to get to before I lost my last take. Now, the writers... Now, pretty much what they do, every single writer who wrote for Spider-Man since 646 up until this point, basically at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 writers are writing 647. I think it's a double-sized issue. For 102 issues, we got this brand new day stuff. This book wraps up most of the loose ends for Brand New Day. There's like maybe a few here and there. The first part, and this is actually a multi-part mural that covers issue 642 to 647. Yeah, where this is villains galore. If you're looking for a villain story, this is the villains. This is what you're looking for. Yeah. Okay. First, see Hammerhead and Hammerhead and Electro show up in the abandoned Kraven office state, which was abandoned since Kraven's first hunt. And you turn the page, bam, there's more villains. You got the Spot, Diablo, Mr. Negative, Sandman. Let's see, you got Vermin, Mysterio, Overdrive. I think that's Molten Man, Morbius, and that's it. Yeah, that shows up in this very first issue. Morbius doesn't do very much in the story. He hardly does anything. The artwork I think is okay. Of course, Spider-Man's even blacklisted their Grim Hunt during the whole Vulture story. Yeah. And of course, his roommate tries to sell up his clothes. Also, it's basically just a sweater. Meets Carly. And of course, around this time, he and Carly start dating. So they finally start a relationship. And then all of a sudden, basically, he looks out the window and something comes out. And the person is Mace. Lily. First time anybody has seen this character since American Son. And she kind of explains where she's been. She's actually been holding off in a cell. And she's still pregnant. She can't fully transform into Mace because for some reason she still got horns, but she can't fully transform into him. Of course, Period does a quick change. And all of a sudden, basically, not like if he shows up, she shows up. Tombstone and Shocker show up. Of course, Tombstone's not a crime boss. No explanation why that is. Then finally, the person who basically benefited from all this, Dr. Octopus. Now he does show up in cameos, so of course the Grim Hunt and the Gauntlet, but he does not take a part in it. He basically is a cameo. He does take a part in the story. Yeah. Try to think his baby. He actually assisted with the birth. And sort of takes the baby, of course, Spider-Man takes the baby. I'll get to why I love this story very much. Eric to me is fine, but some people don't like. One person likes the story very much. He's trying to avoid villains while he's apparently been charged with kidnapping a baby. Yeah. Of course, he's trying to fight off Electro. At the same time, everyone believes he can. And of course, Sandman shows up surprisingly. Yeah, he's fighting these two off. And of course, Tombstone does play a small part in the story, not very much. Yeah. Of course, tries to take away the baby. Everyone still thinks that Spider-Man is basically a kidnapper. He's still a hostage taker. Yeah, of course, this woman claims it was her baby. Turns out it was not. Yeah, then he fights a Vulture again. All of a sudden, a villain who I never expect to show up again, Freak, shows up again. Yeah, who normally we call us the Walking Pharmacy. Rhino shows up for the first time since Gauntlet. Of course, Tombstone takes shock and walks out. He's never seen again in the story. Yeah. Let's see. Of course, Octavius is still at the mansion. I think he's with Chameleon. Yeah. And of course, Rhino's after Spider-Man, not the baby. So, they agree basically to fight another time. Of course, the apparently virus Venture Man turns out it's not the Avengers, it's actually Mysterio behind it. Hands it off to Harry Osborn, and then somehow hands off Harry briefly. He goes up garbage. Apparently, Vulture and Freak have teamed up. Yeah, I don't know why. And all of a sudden, basically, apparently the kid dies, and then it's revealed basically the baby's very much alive, and it's the Chameleon who was supposedly Harry Osborn. Yeah. And then he goes nuts. Really, really nuts. And all of a sudden, this is the part I think is quite funny. First time since the 70s, the Hypno Hustler shows up. Yeah, apparently Spider-Man is going villain catching crazy. And then, bam! Look who shows up at the police station. Diablo, Spot, and Override. 3 criminals who are wanted by the NYPD. Yeah, he's going villain crazy. And of course, the villain who I despise the most, the Looter, the worst Spider-Man villain ever created. Yeah, I've heard of him. Screwball has never heard of him. Yeah, all of a sudden she's talking about it, and all of a sudden, bam! She just went down by Spider-Man, and then she starts creeping her, and then he just has Looter showed up, has him thrown into custody because I'm sure he's wanted. He goes nuts, really, really nuts. Tombstone shows up at the panic room. Of course, she calls like 911. Of course, Mace has a backup plan where her phone controls her glider. Hits Tombstone. I think he's thinking, of course. Then Spider-Man has Freak, Electro, and Vermin all taken to custody. Had them all captured. Then, let's see. Fine, big time. Yeah. Then, he takes Shocker into custody and he shows up at the Kravinoff Institute. the Kravinoff mansion, fights off the he tries to catch by putting his hand through a wall. Somehow the walls are basically very fragile here. And apparently the baby was actually not in the hands of the chameleon. He actually lost the baby to the lizard. First time since Shetty showed up. This next part is the conclusion origin of species. Yes. Yeah, he fights off Dr. Octopus, so he does not get captured. Lizard gets away also. And apparently the baby's alive. And they do a DNA test. And of course, the lizard smells them and says this is not... everyone suspects this baby is Norman Osborn's baby. And then it turns out later on... I'll get to it in a moment. They try to call him. And of course, Lily... Spider-Man asks Lily and Harry to come to the tower. And then it turns out that the baby's father is actually Harry Osborn. And of course later on he's with Stanley. And of course he's cleared of all charges. Thank you. I think it was Steve Rogers. Yeah. And of course next is the origin story of Dr. Octopus. Yeah, him not being afraid. This next story is a double-sided story. It's a very long issue. Yeah, it just simply just wraps up loose ends. Basically, Carly's mad at him basically because they haven't kissed or hold hands, done anything. Yeah, I think this is Norm. Let me show you. Overdrive makes a brief return. He puts on a strange outfit. He puts on this fake outfit. Of course, Overdrive is... This is something quite funny. He drives the Spidey-mobile. Boy, you gotta love seeing that. Man, that's classic. That's classic 70s gore right there. Of course, he's naked. The arc here is a bit weird. Of course, Red Van is actually part of the Goblin cult. For some reason, of course, it's a Halloween party. And apparently, this is supposed to be Felicia Hardy. But it turns out it's actually Carly Cooper because she can't send the wig. And of course, yeah. Comes part of the Goblin cult. Mary Jane dresses up as Jackpot. No explanation why that is. She never gets no explanation why she dresses up Jackpot. And of course, they consummate their relationship by making out. Yeah, Carly and Peter make out. Basically, the official start of the relationship. They've been dating on and off, but of course, Harry fights off Vin, beats the crap out of him, walks off. And there's a short story, basically with these new rules where Spider-Man can't get involved with stuff. This is just an insane story. And of course, there's a story for Nora, who apparently is probably supposed to be something like maybe Marvel's version of Lois Lane. She's nothing like Lois Lane. One thing she doesn't make the superhero. And you have a story for Jameson. And they revisit what happened in Brand New Day. Pretty much, they revisit everything in this next part. They revisit everything that happens over the course of Brand New Day. And of course, Michelle walks off. And the Spider-Man saga is simply just basically stuff that's happened throughout everything that's gone on. Spider-Man since one more day. Yep. Everything's Spider-Man over the years. And gives bios of a whole bunch of characters. And that's pretty much it. 5 out of 5 story. Wraps up a lot of stuff. Starts some new stuff. All in all, good story. Here are the 2 books. 4 out of 5. 5 out of 5. Okay? Stay tuned for the next one. And that's it for this video, so stay tuned for the next one, okay? Bye.